Welcome student. Today in this class we will discuss about major propagating structures which are being used for modern propagation techniques. We know that plant propagation is one of the important steps in horticulture, one of the important activity in horticulture. Carried out in a confined and very careful area that is called a nursery. And in the nursery, there are some specialized structure that are called as plant propagation structures, which play significant role in propagation of various seedlings and grafted and budded plants. So, what is the significance that they are able to maintain or keep the climatic conditions favorable or congenial for better germination? And ensures easy rooting and hardening of seedlings. So plant propagation structures are helpful for successful and healthy production of seedlings. So these structures are key component of any nursery. Some of the important structures here we are discussing. One of them is the polyhouse. And net house, plastic tunnels, or you can say it is a low-cost polyhouses, polytunnels, mist chamber, bottom heat techniques. So germinating structures are there. Among the polyhouses, high-tech polyhouses, naturally ventilated polyhouses. So there are many structures that are available and can be used for propagation. So polyhouse is one of the widest, you can say one of the intensively used propagating structures because of uh, its ability to keep or provide proper environmental conditions so that the seedlings will grow even in off season. So, for example, like dormant in the dormant season, generally in winter season, the birds become dormant. They do not burst. They do not grow because of the lower temperature. When they are being propagated inside the poly houses, the poly houses are having some higher temperature because of solar, because of intense heating, um, while the solar radiations are being trapped inside it. So due to existence of relatively high temperature, the bird can easily burst inside the poly houses, and it will significantly reduce the uh, time period for preparation of seedlings. So it is, yes, commonly being utilized for the citrus cultivation. You can see in the high-tech nursery such kind of facilities are available. So one of the example you can go for the you can see the Center of Excellence for Citrus Research located in Punjab near Hoshiarpur district. Uh, they are having very good strength of polyhouses, and they produces a huge amount of seedlings, especially the citrus, various citrus species, uh, that they are capable to develop such kind of seedlings on time because of the existence of polyhouses. So even the modern polyhouses are automated also because we can control the temperature in that, humidity is that. They work on the sensor based concept and they are well regulated. So in polyhouses we generally propagate the plants or planting materials or seeds in the pro trays, poly bags, benches. So pro trays on the benches. So they are relatively thermostatic and the hygrometer present here, and automatic ventilation systems are there. These are capable to maintain the microclimates, which is suitable for better growth and development of seedlings or planting materials. So existence of irrigation along with fertilizer application, fertigation system in polyhouses. The automation in this fertigation technique is another important achievement, because it provides a calculated amount of water and nutrient to the plant. So you can see that polyhouse structure here under one image, while in another image it is net house structure. For the next topic, it is net house as well. So it is another important structure which is generally used under the tropical conditions where the temperature is very high, and since seedlings need some cooling effect, some cooling atmosphere in the hot, desiccating uh, tropical region. So at that time, that there is a need of cooling, and there is a need of proper shade. So that is provided by net house. So even sometimes it is very useful to bring a cooling effect by covering the net houses, the top of the net houses, by gunny bags, and you can make it, you can say, weight also, so that it will be having cooling impact over the materials inside it. And said nets are of different types because of the intensity or the closeness of the, uh, you can say, net space in the net. So it is it is also multi-layered also sometimes, in order to increase the filtration of solar radiations, we can go for the multiple layer of shed net. The third one is the plastic tunnel, which is a low cost propagating structure, and it is being effectively used for the providing the protection to the seedlings, particularly under the winter season, even in the rainy season also. So these are the simple structure which are which includes a small framework covered with the wire, stretched with the wire and covered with the polythene sheet. The white translucent polythene sheets of nearly 6 feet is stretched over the loops and fastened to the frame of the tunnel. So plastic tunnels are able to provide uh, effective seed germination as well as better vegetative propagation under winter. You can see that how these small structures have been properly stretched for the cultivation practices. The another is mist chamber, and it is very good for the inducing rooting in cuttings by increasing the relative humidity, which is very important for uh, rooting in the cuttings. And the mist facility is able to provide water, spray of water or mist of water, because of release with the high pressure. So this high relative humidity is essential for root initiation and will bring the cooling effect, so that there will be no drying out of cuttings. You can see this structure. What is advantage of that? This method is good for fast rooting of the cuttings, and provide a favorable microclimate for better root initiation and development. And it has been reported that these kind of structures provides a very uh, good rooting and high success rate in hardwood cutting especially. However, there is some disadvantages which are also associated, because since they have been rooted under the protected conditions, so hardening of rooted cutting becomes more difficult, and it is being done carefully. There is need of selection of right media for this purpose also. And under the mist condition, the major challenge is the oxygen deficiency, which can create a problem. So this also needs to be taken care. properly. However, this mist chamber is very good for the purpose of mm, maintaining the good amount of relative humidity and lowering the temperature. So, good for the tropical conditions. The another is the bottom heat technique. So, obviously, this bottom heat technique is used to propagate plant cuttings, and it keeps the top of the cutting dormant and induce the root growth when at the basal end. So the bottom heat technique provide optimum temperature for soil during propagation between, and it provides temperature between 70 to 75 degree Fahrenheit, so nearly 23 degrees Celsius you can say. And what is that? This is essential for inducing rooting in cuttings, and also for better for the seed germination. So if you want to develop seedlings from seeds also, this is very good approach. However, it is being trial and tested with the cuttings, and a successful result has been reported by many of the growers. And there are different methods to provide such kind of heating. Like commercial growers can use air furnace to provide heat under the growing tables. So even hot water system is the another one. Home gardener even can go for bottom heat approach through the heating mats, which is having you can say heater like a structure. So when heating cables they can use. So such kind of things are less expensive, and they concentrate heats on the cutting, and thereby it will be always beneficial to improve or to induce rooting in the cuttings. What some points needs to be taken care? What is that? The place the cuttings in the moist or sterile growing media, means the soil should be sterilized properly. There should not be any contamination. It should be uh, provided with some moisture, but not so saturated that it is going to create rotting into the cuttings. The second important point is that cover the growing tray with the leads or use plastic film. And when you are going to cover it, the covers keep the humidity level high for the cuttings, and does not allow the soil to dry out. So this is very important thing. There is a need of balance between this heating and the providing water. That is as these two are important components. And because even high heating through the bottom heat technique may be responsible for water loss and by the evaporation and drying the soils. So this one soil will dry, the rooting will be not possible. Another thing is it should be provided with bright location, and with the heat mat directly under the tray. So temperature should be set between the 70 to 70 degree Fahrenheit. And so when there is a difference in air temperature and soil temperature, that allows the cutting to concentrate energy on forming root instead of stimulating new leaf growth. So this is a very good way or good approach. And lowering the temperature of the heat during the days when the air temperature is warm is very important, because the warm air and the bottom heat together may be responsible for quick drying of the soils, and that can be damaging to the new roots that are going to be formed. So uh, water should be provided to keep the soil moist, not so excessively. So there should be cautious approach to apply water. Excess of a spray or over spray from the misting of bottle may damage the uh, heat mat or even electronic thermostat. So do it carefully so that you will be able to achieve better. You can see that these are the various images. This is one where heat sensor has been used, which is responsible to measure the temperature of the soil. Heat cables have been inserted inside the sand, and this is being connected with the electricity. Electricity supply will make this heating cables hot. The second is, you can see here one of the very good and structures where you have provided with all facility, including the sprinkling, including the, you can say, heater to bring heating inside the structure. So you can say that it is one of the good bottom heat technique. Well, the third method here is one of the conventional method where near the compost pit or near the cow dung pit, you can see that their organic matters are going to be decomposed. Once they are starting to decompose, the decomposition of organic matter is exothermic reaction, so it will release the energy. So the energy released is sufficient to provide the significant temperature to the rooting uh, cuttings. So it is one of the conventional approach for uh, bottom heat technique.